Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is a Let's Play Trails of Cold Steel 2 Part 87. In the previous video, we talked to all the NPCs on our night of celebration after liberating Trista and Thors. Now we have bonding events to do. We have a whole heck of a lot of them. I'm assuming these are our final bonding events as well. Don't really have in order to the ones we're going to do. We'll start with Fee and then kind of, I don't know, do the ones on this section, and then we'll probably do ones like outside, going like clockwise, and then do the main building ones, and then go to Trista. You know, I mean, we'll see them all eventually. They'll happen when they happen. What's up? Nice into the flowers I planted before we had to leave the academy. Oh yeah, we should save first. Edel said she looked after them for me. That's good. Do you remember to thank her? Because I don't know if it'll let us. I assume it won't let us see them all. Like, they're usually mutually exclusive if these are the final bond events, which they may not be. They kind of make it sound like they are, but that's good. Do you remember to thank her? Of course. They wouldn't be blooming like this without her, but she wasn't their only source of support. They're just like us in a way. They need care, water, sunlight, and people to help them along. That's for sure. Reen? What's up? I want to go see our dorm later, and I want you to come with me. Me? Well... I do need to save first. I mean, I did save before I started the video, but like, I need to save again. That's fine. I'll be here if you change your mind. Oh shit! Oh god, I messed up. I shot my shot, but I shouldn't have. Look at how capable you've all become. Did I ever talk to you? You have especially. I was especially pleased to see that Fee and Vivi have developed into such fine young ladies. How lucky I am to see their return. All right, so let's freaking do this. Of course, I'd be happy to. Thanks. You can head over there whenever you want. I'll be along once I'm done here. No problem there. Guess I'll head over once I've finished of everything I planned on doing today. Oh, does that mean I have to do the story first? Okay, because we might need to rework this then? If they won't just let me proc it immediately? But we've agreed to meet, but we still have to do main story stuff first. Okay. Well, let's reload then. Trying to think how we want to do this. We will go to the rooftop. At least do this so that we don't have to do, because I mean, I don't know.
Oh, you guys are all up here?
If we're making us do main story stuff too, this is gonna be a fucking long video, man.
Hey,
because I do want to do them all in one shot.
It's a little on the chilly side, but it still feels pretty nice since there's no breeze out.
Oh yeah, you're right.
We're finally back here.
Yeah, gotta admit, seeing it again's making me feel all emotional.
And no doubt. Especially since, unlike the rest of us, you guys were last here during the festival.
You're probably feeling lonely with Crow missing. Towa, George, Angelica,
Don't worry, we'll beat up Crow.
I want to thank you.
Huh?
Beat him up real good.
What for?
What do you mean, what
You
for?
guys have helped us out so much. There's no way we could have gone that far without you. If it were just us first years, I don't think things would have gone half as well. So, on behalf of everyone here, thank you for everything you've done.
We should be the ones thanking you.
Yeah. Think about all the work Class 7 put into this and try saying that again.
Exactly. You guys even helped me deal with my old man. Where would I be without you?
I guess. But for the record, we've needed you just as much as you say you need us, you know. You shouldered the most responsibility on the Courageous, the ship that carried us and our dreams this far. And I'm gonna need you to keep watching our backs tomorrow. You think you can do that for us?
Like you even had to ask.
We'll be right there with you.
We would never abandon you after we've come this far together.
Thanks. I get this feeling like tomorrow's going to mark a turning point for us. Whether the Imperial Army's operation is a success or a failure,
Some sort of point of no return, perhaps.
feels like the time for me to fight Crow is almost here.
I mean, technically we fought him twice already, but, you know.
That's true.
I guess like a for realsy real fight?
Yeah, he won't let a chance like this just waltz on by.
And this time, I'm not going to let him win. I'll beat him, drag him right back here, and force him to finally graduate with you.
As soon as the professor installs the upgrade to our sword that lets it pierce plot armor, we will destroy him.
You sure that's even possible, Reen?
That's not going to be...
I'm well aware that it won't be easy.
I mean, he didn't actually kill him, you know?
But
Spoilers.
everyone, not just me, wants the four of you together again.
I mean, it's just attempted murder. You could probably still graduate if you...
Class 7 managed to reunite, right? Now it's your turn.
You're amazing, Reen. And if you say that's what you're gonna do, I've got no reason to doubt you. Good luck.
In reality, you know, even if you did rescue Crow, he would end up in prison for the rest of his life, but,
Tomorrow's operation is sounding crazier by the minute.
Seriously. I better hope I can finish polishing off that Tachi.
Their conversation finally finished, Towa went back to the student council room to dutifully go over the plans for tomorrow once again. After saying their goodbyes, George and Angelica departed for the engineering building to get tools and the equipment needed to manufacture Valimar's weapon. Okay, but like, my time. Oh god. So I get like, so we'll save here. I just want to make sure we don't accidentally move it forward without doing a bond of it, but also I don't want to have to do this scene every single time we change characters.
Hey, Valimar.
Hello, Reed.
I came to see how you were holding up. Sure was a surprise when you offered, but thanks for volunteering to serve as a lookout.
Not a problem.
So I may just laugh.
You and your friends have influenced me to some degree. Each and every one of you have come a long way to take this place back. I simply wish for you to be able to dedicate this evening to celebrating that achievement.
Thanks. You know, looking back, I never figured the day would come when I'd be able to have a natural conversation with you like this.
I do like the whole idea of Valimar becoming more human, so to speak, as the story goes on. It makes him definitely more interesting.
You've changed a lot in that regard. You've gone from sounding mechanical to dignified, I suppose.
I've been working to gradually recover my memories over time. And while still fragmented, I am now able to recollect specific memories from my past.
Really? Does that mean you remember some of what happened before you went to sleep in the old schoolhouse?
Correct. I went to sleep 250 years, 128 days ago.
Ooh, oh man, that's that number seems a little important.
And my previous awakener was a man known as Drykel's Rising Armor.
Okay, not really a surprise.
Wow. So it really was Drykel's, huh? I had my suspicions when I saw that memory in the last shrine, but I didn't want to assume.
I had my suspicions as soon as we saw the very first one, Reen. You do go to a fancy school, right?
I believe you resonated with the memories that reside within the proving grounds. Drykel's visited the spirit shrines as you did. In each one, He obtained the same ore with which to forge his weapon, advanced upon the same capital, and it was there, with many allies at his side, that he laid the war to rest in one final confrontation.
It's kind of eerie how similar our paths are, but it makes me feel a little self-conscious too, in a way. I doubt we're doing all this half as well as he did. What kind of person was he, anyway?
He was an open-minded, composed, and driven man, full of bravery and daring, and in some ways, an enigma. Yet for those he met, he was ever kind and merciful. He had dignity in measure with his stature, and still at times, one could see in his eyes the glimmer of a child's.
He was really something, wasn't he? Hearing you talk about him, I don't know if I could be anything like he was. But maybe if I were, I'd be able to do more for everyone.
There is little meaning in striving to be something you are not.
Huh?
Since my awakening, I have watched over you. I have seen you grow as a person. Brightles found success in playing to his strengths. You, though different, possess strengths no less great. Just as he attracted his own supporters, so too have you gained those who would choose to stand by your side and no other. Take pride in those who would become your sword, for not even kings can buy the loyalty you have earned.
Oh, that's a really good line.
Thanks, Valimar. You're right. I should focus on improving myself as I am, rather than try to become someone I'm not. Seeing as how I'm fighting for my future and to bring home my friend, it wouldn't make sense to be anyone else, really. Oh, yeah. It sounds like the Tachi will be done by morning. So if you're up for it, I think we should test it out tomorrow. I'll be counting on you, Valimar.
I shall do all within my power.
Okay, so now it probably wants us to go back to the dormitory, but first we'll go up here and teleport. Yeah, take me to the gym. It's the closest. Well, I didn't want you to take me in the gym. I just want you to take me near and or around the gym. All right, 12 minutes in, we're gonna get to do our first bond event. And make a save here. Okay, take me to the dormitory. Well, I promise I meet Fee here. Should I head inside and wait already, though? I think I'm kind of early here. Just do it. Just do it, Rain.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Hey, no worries. I haven't been waiting long. Did you take care of everything you wanted to do? Last time I saw you, you were still out in the garden.
Yeah, Adel and I planted some new seeds. I found them myself.
Really? I can't wait to see what they grow into then.
Why are you finding seeds?
It's kinda nice to be back home, especially after so long.
Yeah, really brings back memories. And now that we're here, why don't we head inside and walk around for a bit? I'm curious to see how things have held up upstairs, too.
Sounds good to me.
That crow's room? I think so?
Wonder if
two-
Crow ever plans on coming back to us.
Yeah, okay, that was probably supposed to be Crow's room. The other thing I say, I know he's on the second floor, and I'm pretty sure 206 was it.
Honestly, I don't think so. Not of his own free will, at least. It's clear that he really believes in what he's doing. I've sworn over and over that we'll bring him back. I don't think that's going to be so easy at this point, but that's never put us off before. We'll get him back no matter what happens.
I mean, he is, like, still a terrorist at the end of the day. I mean, he definitely seems to have maybe, I mean, we haven't really seen him kill anyone directly, but at the same time, you kind of have to assume that, it's happened, right?
Yep, we won't lose.
And at the very least, it was under his orders and everything that, people at Grelia died, and the idea to blow up Crossbell.
Not to Zeno or Leo either.
Having to fight the two of them this way must be tough on you. No one wants to fight family.
Yeah, but that's exactly why I can't hold back against them. If I show them even a hint of hesitation, I'll never be able to get through to them. I think the same's true for Crow, too.
I suppose you're right.
I've always wanted to find a family. Even my earliest memory has me wandering lost on a battlefield, trying to find somewhere I could belong. But eventually, I found one. Zephyr. They gave me a place to call home. Showed me a warmth only a family can provide. And always looked out for me.
A place to call home, huh?
Then we lost our boss, and the family who'd given me all of that decided to leave me behind. And I realized how weak I really was. On my own, I was nothing. I always relied on them to keep me safe. But I couldn't do anything for them in return.
You were a child, by the way?
After that, Sarah took me in, and I wound up joining Class 7. For the first time in my life, I was around people who needed me just as much as I needed them. For the first time, I could protect them just as much as they protected me. I found myself part of a completely different kind of family. One I didn't even know existed. And I'm so grateful to Class 7, and especially you, for giving me that. I still want to ask them why they all left me behind. But more than that, I want to show off the new family I found. I want them to see how well I'm doing now. Zeno and Leo were always important to me. But that's why I want to let them know just how important all of you are, too.
That's a heck of a compliment. And we'll do everything in our power to make sure you can show us off.
Thanks. It's weird. There's all kinds of ways to form a family, right? And it's easy to find where everyone else fits in ours. But you're just kinda different.
In what way?
Alisa, Laura, Emma, and Sarah are like older sisters to me. Milliam's obviously my annoying kid sister. Machias, Jusis, and Gaius are like my big brothers. And so's Crow, I guess. But I don't think of you like that. You're not like a sibling, but something else. Something closer. I can't put it into words, though.
See? I feel the same way about you. You're more than family to me, and I'm glad to have you by my side. You might be a bit younger than most of us, but you fight harder to defend those you love more than anyone I know.
Don't ruin it, Reen.
And you're every bit as important to me as I am to you, if not more so.
Good.
Anyway, we've got work to do tomorrow. The future of our Class 7 family rests in our hands.
Yeah.
Okay, that one's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now, do I need to Alt F4 or are we done? Just let me load the game, man. Got Overdrive 2? What? Okay, we're just gonna Alt F4. Now, this game isn't super kind to Alt F4ing in the past. Sometimes it just like straight up doesn't work. Or like it'll like, instead of closing, it'll just crash. Okay, so we want to reload. I guess it doesn't really matter, but... Okay, who's closest? Laura. You're next on the list of things to do today. Monica and I wanted to see the gymnasium again. So many memories here, both at the pool and at the training hall. I'll bet. I mean, we all had our lessons at the training hall, but you were here practicing your swordsmanship whenever the fencing club left it empty. Honestly, I almost never remembered that this place was on fight with Angelica. It's hard to forget getting hit like that. I'm still waiting for a chance to fight one-on-one, to be honest. After all we've been through together, I imagine it'd be quite the duel. You can say that again. Maybe when all this is over, we'll get the chance. Reen, there's a favor I'd like to ask you. Sure, what's up? I was considering paying our dormitory a visit later on, and well, I would very much like your company if you have the time, of course. Of course, I'd be happy to join you. Excellent. I'm going to spend some time with Monica, but after that I'll make my way to the dorm. Works for me. I'll be spending a bit more time with Monica. Once we're finished, I will make my way over to the dormitory.
Hey, Laura. Did you finish taking care of things then?
I believe so. It truly does feel strange to be back here, though. It's been a long road to return here, and yet, return we did. This building holds so many memories for us. I couldn't even begin to count.
It sure does. Well, while we're here, you want to walk around inside for a bit? I'm curious how things are upstairs, too.
Sure, I'd like that.
Sure.
I don't know why, but there was a little part of me that expected to find Crow here waiting for us.
Now that'd be a funny joke.
I mean, not
That'd be a
literally
pretty
expect,
meme.
but there was just a little voice in my head going, what if, while walking around.
I can hardly blame you. I felt the same. Instead, he's another obstacle we have to overcome. One of many.
Some might even call him a barrier that you have to get over.
Yeah. Still, we've been able to face every challenge that's come our way up till now. Why wouldn't our fight to bring Crow home be the same?
That's a good way to look at it. Nothing stands a chance at declaring victory over Class 7's combined might. Or our two swords.
Yeah, okay, swords, I get it.
Speaking of, Reen, I realize I've asked this once before, but do you like the path of the sword?
Hearing that brings back memories. You really caught me off guard when you asked me that back in Celtic. Any reason it's on your mind again?
I was just curious. It feels as though after our impending battle, things will never be the same. And so before that happened, I wanted to hear your answer one more time. For all I know, that answer's changed.
Ah, right. Well, it hasn't. My answer's exactly the same now as it was then.
Now, for the people in the back, Reen, what did you say 200 hours ago?
Swordsmanship is like a part of me. It's always been there, and it always will be. It's not a case of liking it or not, it's just part of who I am. Both my swordsmanship and my sword are me in a way.
Maybe you'll be happy to know that my feelings on the subject haven't changed either. My stance and my resolve are the same as they ever were. I stake my pride, my soul, my very being on my blade, and wield it to attain ever greater heights. That is what it means to me. Why I value it above all else. Or so I say. I'm conflicted, to tell you the truth.
Conflicted? About what?
In both my time at the academy and during these past few weeks of fighting alongside one another, I seem to have found something else just as precious to me.
Are you suggesting...
I've
Yep,
now
Monica.
discovered a new reason to fight.
That's it.
One that differs from the reason I fought for all this time. And that reason gives me more courage and power than I've ever felt before. Never could I have imagined there would be anything that would mean as much to me as my path of the sword. At least, not until I met you.
Laura?
Reen, I think I love you. At first, we were just friends, but now I see you as something far more. That's why I need to know. Do you feel the same way about me too?
Message read at 3:25 p.m. Reen, it never appears again. Just fucking runs out the window.
I wanted to be the one to say it first, but it looks like you beat me to it. I always figured that as a man, it'd end up being my job.
Sorry, that was presumptuous of me. I'm simply not used to these sort of things.
No, don't worry. You've got nothing to apologize for. I've always admired you ever since our first day here. Your swordsmanship is so elegant, strong, and beautiful that I couldn't help but be captivated by it. And by you. You're as strong as you are reliable, but that feminine side you show from time to time is adorable too. I'm always happy to be part of our class, but having a place where the two of us can better ourselves makes me happiest of all.
Truly?
I love you too, Laura. Even after we graduate, I want to keep walking alongside you, following the path of the sword. And I hope that we one day reach those heights we're aiming for, but together. I'm glad I finally got the chance to say it. Laura?
I had no idea it would make me this happy to hear you say you love me. My face feels like it's on fire from blushing so much.
I feel the same way, you know. We've got no way of knowing what the future holds in store for us, but we can't let a war like this stand in our path. Like you said, we have a lot of obstacles to overcome, and by overcoming ours, we'll prove we're capable of so much more.
Yeah, we will. May we both wear the way of the sword proudly, and together protect our friends and our future.
Laura, please, I'm begging you, shut the fuck up about swords for 2 seconds. That one's a lot more direct than I was expecting. I mean, it just kind of goes back to the thing that I've talked about in the past, where, like, Reen, throughout the main story, shows basically, like, there's, like, a couple one-off scenes where he shows affection to any of the characters, and then it suddenly being like they're in love and always have been. Just feels weird. But that's just like the nature of these Bond events, right? They're always gonna feel a little awkward. I don't care about you not being able to sync my save, Steam. That's kind of like the Fee one, just because it was, I mean, you know, there's definitely like obviously romantic undertones there, but it's still subtle at this point, which I guess just feels better in comparison. I don't know. Because really, the only, I mean, there's been like, but I mean, Alisa's the only one that's the closest one that's been like directly romantic in her Bond events, but even then. Oh, this is where you were, checking up on the old schoolhouse? That's right, we've been away for so long that I thought it'd be a good idea to do so. It seems to have been largely inert since the day Valimar woke. Well, that's kind of reassuring, one less thing to worry about now. I appreciate you doing this, so don't take this the wrong way, but why don't you give the witch thing a rest for tonight? Tomorrow we'll be right back to putting our lives on the line, so for right now you should try and take it easy. I suppose you're right. Well, at the very least I'll stop by the literature club and see Dorothy later. She's been on Cloud 9 since she got access to her books again, so I should probably go bring her back to the ground. Good luck with that. But now that you mention it, taking it easy, I have a favor to ask. Could you meet me at our dormitory later? I want to take a look around, and I'd like to do so with you. Me? Well, yeah, sure. I'll be happy to. I'll head right over once I take care of a few more things. Thank you very much. I'll see you again later, Reen. I have a few things to handle on my own, and not the least of which being Dorothy. And I guess another reason why the whole Bond event romantic stuff like falls flat to me is that like you know, like the story's never really going to be able to acknowledge it because it has to juggle like freaking 8 potential romances potentially, and there's just no way you can not accurately, but like satisfyingly have that acknowledged within the story and the characters itself. So it just doesn't feel as real. Therefore, I would rather there be none or just one.
Sorry for being late, Reen. I hope I didn't keep you waiting long.
Oh, don't worry about it. I just got here myself. Finished everything up then?
Yeah, everything seemed to be in order over at the old schoolhouse, too. And for once, even Celine was acting considerate.
You don't say.
Being here like this really feels like old times, doesn't it? I made so many fond memories here in this building. I can't even begin to count them all.
Yeah. Hey, seeing as we're already here, you want to take a little walk around inside? I'm curious what state we left things in, aren't you?
Well, that sounds like fun.
Back then, I never would have imagined that Crow was an Awakener, or that he was working with Misty from Aubin time of all people.
Well, that makes 2 of us. When I think about the trial we had to pass, it's hard to believe he did something like that alone.
It really makes you wonder. I mean, we had his help when we did it too. His determination must have been incredible to take on something like that by himself and come out the winner.
That or it makes literally no fucking sense.
And I have a feeling he'll take all of us on by himself too. That's what it comes down to. If we want to bring him back home with us, we'll have to show him we're even more stubborn and determined than he is.
I mean, Reen literally, not only has he trained more than Crow and with like more competent trainers, he literally has a special superpower already. And he had to have people helping him to beat the trials, but Crow does it, 3 years ago when he was vastly less experienced by himself. What?
I think we can match him point for point on that as long as you're there. And as the witch responsible for guiding you in Valimar, I fully intend to see everything through to the very end.
Thanks. I'll be depending on you.
Reen, I've been thinking lately. Somewhere along this journey we've taken together, I finally felt glad to have been born a witch. If I hadn't, I might never have enrolled at this academy. And if I'd never come here, I would never have met everyone in Class 7, and I wouldn't have met you.
I'm really glad you did. With all we've been through, if anyone besides you had been guiding me, I doubt we would have come as far as we have.
I'm happy to know you think so. Before I came to the academy, and even well after I'd started here, I lived to fulfill the duties expected of me as a witch. I'd been that way ever since I was little. But all that time, I had no idea of the real significance behind everything I was doing. My life as a witch was so all-encompassing, I couldn't really see anything else.
Emma.
It was after I started here at Thor's that things started to change. I may have come here to keep watch over the fate that awaited Valimar and the one he chose as his Awakener, but I feel so much more than that now. Instead of just watching over you, I want to stand with everyone and fight alongside you as an equal. I don't want to be someone who just watches things happen. I want to be there with Class 7, no matter what's in store.
I'm happy you're with us. You've always been looking out for us, doing as much as you could and supporting us in more ways than we realized. I doubt Class 7 would be what it is now if you hadn't been a part of it. So I think I speak for everyone when I say thank you for sticking it out through all the good and the bad.
I owe you guys a lot of thanks, too. Some days, the only reason I was able to keep doing my part as Class 7's president is because everyone... well, maybe... not everyone. It's because you accepted me for who I was, Reen. You must have had so many questions, but you were always so patient and kind. Oh.
Emma, the only reason I feel like I can fill the shoes of an awakener is because I have you to guide me. When I first found out what I had to do, I was confused. I didn't understand what was going on, really. But with you by my side and showing me the way, I started to feel like I might be able to really do it after all.
Is that so?
Emma, I love you. No matter what fate has in store for me, I've decided I'm going to face it head on. Because as long as I have you with me, I know that whatever the challenge, I can rise to meet it. Will you stay with me?
Of course!
She says, nah, gross, what the hell? I didn't mean it like that. And then Reen just jumps out the window.
What would Grandmother
Ends
and
it all.
Rita say if they could see me now?
The Noble Alliance wins the war. GG.
This isn't exactly a respectable path for a witch to take.
Maybe not, but who cares? We're old enough to make our own choices, and even if the path is a rough one, I'm ready to stick it out.
Me too.
At least there was no weird sword talk in that one. So far, out of the three, power rankings, B, Emma, then Laura. Out of the three we've seen. That's our preliminary power rankings. So who's next on the agenda? Do I want to just get all the romantic ones out of the way, and then we can bond with the boys later? For the second half of the video? I mean, I kind of do. Oh, so Towa's available now after we do the thing on the top? Okay. Man, they really like hiding Towa from you. Let's, let's do Towa. We'll do Alisa as the last, like, quote-unquote romantic one. And then we'll bond with the boys. I mean, I assume you're in this over here, right? Yeah, there you are. Lady, you can't be working. We're going over tomorrow's operation again just to make sure everyone's on the same page. We gotta be sure that everything's perfect. It feels like we're holding the Imperial Army's success or failure in our hands. It really does. There's no way we're going to be letting them down. That's right, but it's gonna take all of us in the Academy to pull it off. And now that you've promised to bring back Crow, I can't afford to give my part any less than my all. Same goes for me. It's gonna be tough, but I know we can do this. Reen, there's something I wanted to ask you. Would you be willing to show me around your class's dormitory later tonight? What brought this on? Well, we are finally back in Trista, and I've always wanted to see what it was like inside, beyond where I leave the request, I mean. Can you blame me? I've lived there for a long time. You've lived there for a long time now, and tonight seems like the perfect time to see it. Well, alright. Fine by me, I'll give you the grand tour. Really? Thanks. I'll be there as soon as I get the chance. See you later. I don't know how much longer I'll be held up here, so you can go ahead to the dorm and make yourself comfortable. I'll be along as soon as I can. Well, I promised I'd meet Towa here. Should I head inside and wait already? Yeah, just fucking right, dude.
Thanks for inviting me here, Reen.
Technically, you invited yourself.
And thank you for coming by. Guess you're all done with work?
Yep. The other student council members said they don't mind splitting what's left between themselves. I wanted to stay longer, but it was hard for me to say no after they insisted I take the rest of the night off.
Can't blame them there. You've always been a workaholic.
Sure is nice being back in here. I mean, I never lived with you guys, but I would drop by all the time to deliver your requests on free days.
And you always had to do it so early in the morning, too. I can't count how many times you went out of your way for me. Well, while we're here, how about I give you a tour? I'm curious how things are upstairs, too.
Why not?
I like how she's still acting Captain Towa. She can't just be Towa. She has to have a title at all times.
So, that was the room Crow lived in for the 2.5 months he was here, huh? He lived with the rest of us in our dorm before that, but he seemed to have way more fun with all of you. I was a little jealous of him, to be honest.
Really?
If Crow was going to come back anywhere in Trista, it'd be here. What with how it connects all of you, and even me, Angie, and George, I doubt there's anywhere in Erebonia he'd rather be.
Yeah, you're right. I doubt he feels like he belongs while he's with the Alliance anyway.
That's what I've been saying, man.
Which is why I fully intend to honor my promise to drag him back here.
You really, I mean, other than like a kind of momentum and, you know, maybe some slight like loyalty / wanting to pay back Duke Cayenne, he has no reason to be allied with the Noble Alliance.
And I can't wait to see him graduate. It really is amazing just how dependable you've become. When I first met you, I had no idea I would end up relying on you so much. Even after, I never thought you could handle it all.
Wow. Not a good start, Towa.
I suppose we both had weird first impressions of each other, didn't we?
You're like, I thought you were a loser who couldn't do anything. Loser?
I'm not proud of it, but I totally didn't believe you were a second year when we first met. That being said, you were quick to prove me wrong. You're so capable and reliable.
Thanks. But there's something I want you to remember, Rean.
Like?
I have a gun?
I really do think you're amazing. And not just because of all you did at the Academy. You were chosen by Valimar. And you've gone through all kinds of scary experiences as a result. You've made a difference to the lives of so many. And you're surrounded by people who see you as their leader. But no matter what happens, no matter what you're up against, I don't want you to forget that you're only human like the rest of us. I don't really believe there are natural-born heroes out there who are superior to everyone else. And I don't think you're an exception. So don't feel like you have to shoulder everyone's problems by yourself. We're all here with you if you need us. There's no shame in asking for help or relying on others if you need to, okay?
Wow, thank you for saying that. Really, talking to you gives me a sense of ease in a way nothing else can. You're always willing to accept people for who they are, strengths, flaws, and all.
I don't know about that.
It was only because you were there to support me that I was able to start accepting myself for who I really am. That I was able to try and keep moving forward as I am instead of losing faith in myself. So, thank you for everything.
I'm happy to hear you say that. It's weird. Now more than ever, I feel so glad I was able to become Thor's student council president. If I hadn't, I might have never met you. And I doubt I would have ever started feeling like this.
Like?
Don't do that ever again, please.
Rean, can you kneel down for a minute?
What the?
Huh? Like this?
Don't worry. I'm sure everything will work out just fine. We might not be heroes, but that's all the more reason we'll see this through to the end without giving up. And we'll do it without losing a single one of us along the way.
Right.
That was pretty good. Oh, is it as good as the Fee one? It's close. They're both pretty close. Definitely better than Emma and Laura. I think I like Fee still slightly more, but the Towa one's good. I do feel like Towa, I mean, honestly, I would have, like, I think she actually makes more sense out of all the female characters to be like the quote-unquote canon love interest for Reen, since it does feel like, I don't know, like Reen interacts with her like so much in the first game in particular. And there's like, she's there for some like important conversations about like, you know, what he wants to do with his life and things like that. Who else is left? I guess we talked to Alfin? Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's a, you know, as much as I hate it, the game does have a romantic bend to it. Even though, I mean, the Alfin stuff isn't that bad. It's really just like the whole idea that Alfin is like instantly in love with Reen before she literally even meets him, like, rubs you the wrong way. I mean, all the brother talk as well is kind of creepy, but, you know. It feels as though everyone aboard the Courageous is a lot more positive these days, don't you think? It's as if we're all united in our efforts and there's a sense of trust and warm regard around every corner. It's not nearly as bad as the Elise romance stuff. That's, to get that out of here, man. And I think I know who we have to thank for that, too. You. Me. You're always looking out for us, Reen, learning more about us, listening to our worries, trying to help us in any way you can. Without you, I don't know if everyone would be as close to one another as they are right now. I'm happy you feel that way, but I think you're giving me too much credit, Your Highness. If anything, it's everyone here who's always looking out for me. Whatever I've done, they've done just as much for me, if not more. Oh, I don't doubt that they've done for you, or all they've done for you. Regardless, I still believe you deserve to have this. Oh. What's this? It's called the Medal of Love, and it's to be bestowed upon one who shows great compassion and consideration to others. I want you to accept it as proof of the strong bonds you form with the other members of the Academy. Proof of our bonds, huh? I like the sound of that. I'd be more than honored to accept it. I just wish we could form a deeper bond too. Huh? You say something? Nothing. No, nothing at all. I'm thinking about it. I've given you 3 medals now, haven't I? Strength, charity, love. I'm amazed you were able to earn them all in such a short time. My expectations were certainly high, but you've more than delivered. It's an honor to hear you say that. And I couldn't be the only one you've made an impression on. Your classmates and my brother surely think just as highly of you. I do hope you'll treasure those feelings as much as we've come to treasure you. Thank you, Your Highness. I'd like you to know that I always keep the virtues these medals signify in mind, and I'll fight every day to return peace to Erebonia. I have a feeling you'll accomplish far more than those medals were ever intended to reward. In addition to those, I'd also like to give you this. Ooh, a vermilion. Isn't this a Master Quartz? Indeed, a very powerful one called vermilion, occasionally gifted to those deemed worthy by the Imperial family. You've been holding on to this shit the whole time? We haven't been worthy earlier? Fighting for my damn life out here. Oh, I could have gained you the magic powerful rock, but instead I'm just going to keep it until late in the game when you probably don't even need it anymore. My brother left it in my care some time ago, but I think it would be better used in your hands. Think of it as me fighting alongside you and try to use it well so that we can see Elise again, if nothing else. Absolutely, Your Highness. Okay, I still do need to see your bond event, but is that any good? I assume it's magic-based? No, it's not. It's physical. High HP increases physical damage increased by up to 16%. Yeah, that's good. I think that's just better than Force. Force would be better if we didn't have a limit on Spirit Unification. But since we only ever pop it once per fight, honestly, I think Vermilion's better. 16% more damage? Plus more max HP? Plus... I mean, your other stats are basically the same. 90, 70, 70. Yeah, I mean, I don't care about I really don't care about any of your stats but strength, HP, and speed. The only real thing is that Force is close to leveling up. But I do think this is better. Even though we'll never get its level 5 by the end of this game. Honestly, even Force we might not get to level 5 depending on how much combat's left. We'll go ahead and equip it for now, though. What brings you to the principal's office, Your Highness? Oh yeah, I should look at that accessory too. I just came to give my regards to Principal Van Dyke. You see, I'll be remaining here during tomorrow's operation. Though in my heart of hearts, I'd rather be out there fighting with all of you. Helping to rescue Alisa and my family is far preferable to just sitting here letting others fight on my behalf. I'm sorry you feel that way, Your Highness. Don't worry, Reen. I understand that it'd be way too risky to take me along with you. I'd rather not risk the success of the operation with my presence, so I'll remain here and pray for all of you. Sorry I had to leave you out of the plans this time, Your Highness. If it's any consolation, it'll all be over tomorrow. We're going to rescue them all, for your sake too. Thanks, I'm placing my trust in all of you. Reen, could I perhaps impose on you a small favor this evening? I'd like you to give me a little tour of Class 7's dorm, if you're okay with that. Any particular reason? It'd probably be about what you expect from a dorm. It's important for a devoted little sister to know— God damn it. To know each and every detail of her beloved brother's inner chambers. Don't pause before saying it, you... And far be it from me to let that chance slip by. We're both in Trista? I should have guessed. I don't see any harm in it. I'll give you the exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the glamorous lives of Class 7. Really? You mean it? Goodness, now I'm starting to feel a little nervous. I'm going along later, so just come meet me whenever you're ready. Guess I'll head over as soon as I'm ready.
So this is what it looks like on the inside.
It's very brown.
Oh, hello. Welcome to our dormitory.
Damn, we're at 50 minutes and we've done like less than half. Or maybe you're just now at half? I don't even think we're at half.
Did you finish talking to the principal?
What we'll probably do is, since this video is going to be like 90 minutes long, this will probably just be the only video that goes up today. Just because I am still... Because honestly, this is kind of like a topic for another video, but like once this Let's Play ends, I'll probably be scaling back how much I upload, just because I'm kind of having trouble keeping up with my current upload pace.
That's right. We sorted out all the arrangements for tomorrow.
Till this LP ends, though, I do want to try and stick to 2 a day for the most part, just because the game's long, but...
I had the delightful opportunity to enjoy the Academy atmosphere on the way here as well. If there are ever any other festivals or the like here, I'll have to try and come back by myself to see them.
And so basically just having, if I'm going to have to make a long video to do everything I want to do in one video, I pretty much can only have like 1 video go up a day just to alleviate some pressure.
So this is where you and your classmates spent so much of your time. I almost feel as if I shouldn't be here. Like I've stepped into Class 7's private little world.
Oh, not at all. You're very welcome here. So, how would you like me to show you around the building? I'm curious how things are upstairs now, too.
Well, if you're offering, then let the tour begin. So that was once Crow's room. His room was opposite to yours then?
Yeah. He only lived there for a couple months, but I can't picture anyone else being there. It was pretty handy having him so close by too, especially when we were making plans for the festival. We could just wander into each other's rooms anytime we needed something.
You two must have trusted one another so deeply. And that makes the fact you two have to fight one another all the more depressing. Why must it be that way? Well, just know that while I may not be able to come with you, I'll be praying for the best.
I appreciate that. Don't worry, Your Highness. I fully intend to win against him and bring him right back here. I mean, we've got you on our side. How could we possibly lose?
Oh, Reen, you're such a tease. Besides, I'm hardly the lovely, kind-hearted girl you think I am.
Pardon?
You're kind of putting words in our mouth.
At first, I was acting as a substitute for Elise because she couldn't be near you herself. I thought, if she couldn't support you, I would try to do so in her place. And before I knew it, I found myself learning things about you that even she didn't know.
And the more I learned, the guiltier I felt. Guilty because knowing things she didn't made me feel, well, really happy.
Oh, I had no idea.
And as if that weren't awful enough, I found myself wanting to know more and more. What right do I have to call Elise my best friend when I feel this way?
It's for the best for her in the long run. At least that is. It's good, just, you know, take away any potential horny incest thoughts away from her. Just deny that. You know, don't let her explore that avenue.
I'm honored to hear that. You needn't think it was one-sided, Your Highness. I was happy to learn more about you through all of this, too.
You were?
I've learned how much of a prankster you can be, how hard you work for the people of your country, how smart you are. I see you always conducting yourself with dignity and pride. And I've also seen just how much you care for everyone around you. I'd be careful that one other interest of yours doesn't get out of hand, though.
This simply isn't fair! It's like I'm the only one getting worked up here while you just play everything off, cool as a cucumber! Well, whatever happens, it's all on you. I take no responsibility. When we find Elise, I'm gonna tell her everything, and we'll talk it through. All night if need be. Oh, perhaps working together as a team might not be such a bad idea.
Why am I suddenly filled with an overwhelming sense of dread?
Anyway, none of this even matters if you don't come back alive tomorrow. So you have to, alright?
Don't threaten me with a good time, Alfin.
With Elise, of course. Promise?
I wouldn't dream of doing otherwise. The two of us will be back before you know it. So wait a little longer, okay?
I can't wait.
Oh dang, the game crashed. Oh, that one's okay. What are the power rankings? It's like Fee, Towa, Emma, Alfin, Laura. I think that's how we'll go right now. Maybe Laura, Alfin. Who else is left? So is Alisa the last semi-romantic one? Probably. So let's do her. And then we hang with the boys. Also, what is that accessory? Is it any good? Okay, so it's like your defense-oriented one. It's not very good. I mean, 1500 max HP is okay, but there's other stuff that gives max HP that just have better additional effects. You know, like the one that gives crit and stuff. I couldn't be any happier that the Cross Club's back together at last. It was a tough road, but staying on it was completely worth it. Granted, I did have everyone's help along the way. And it makes me happy to see you so happy. This isn't just the end, though. Or this isn't the end just yet. Yeah, it all comes down to tomorrow's operation. That's no reason for us to worry. Sticking together has gotten us through some rough times. I know we can do it. You and me both. Reen, would you mind coming with me to our dorm a little later on? I just want to see it one more time before we head out tomorrow. Just the two of us. Alisa? Well, sure, I don't see why not. I'll head over there later. Thanks. I'll be over as soon as I'm done, too. Okay, then. I guess I'll head over once I take care of everything else I wanted to do today. Alright, moment of truth, Alisa. Can you redeem yourself? And make me change my mind? Probably not.
Sorry for the wait, Reen.
Oh, Hey, Alisa. I only just got here, actually. All done catching up with the rest of the lacrosse club?
Yeah, it was great to be back with them, but I think we've done enough celebrating for the time being. Plus, Varys ended up giving me a few friendly words of advice, too. It's kind of hard to say no to a girl who keeps insisting a lady ought to not keep a gentleman waiting, you know?
Yeah, sounds like her all right.
Anyway, never mind her. It really does feel strange to be back here in our old dormitory. In a good way, of course. As soon as I stepped through the doors, all the memories of the times we spent together here came flooding back.
Yeah, same here. It's been a long time coming, but we finally made it. Well, while we're here, do you want to walk around inside for a bit? I'm curious how things are upstairs, too.
Sure, why not? It's funny how time works, isn't it?
Damn it, Alisa, you killed the mood.
It's only been a couple months since we were last here, and yet I feel like it's been years.
I guess that just goes to show how much of a mark the time we spent here has left on us, though. Every room, every corridor has a memory attached to it. Just one look, and I suddenly remember it all like it was yesterday.
You know, I guess that's true. I just wish Crow were here with us to share this feeling. It doesn't feel quite right without him.
I wish he were here, too. He's as much a part of Class 7 as the rest of us. Give it time, though. Next thing you know, he'll be right here reminiscing with us.
You really never change, Reen. It was clear from the moment we met. You were someone who really cared for others, and you're as kind now as you were then. You were our leader, always tirelessly looking out for every member of the group and putting our needs before your own. We're so grateful for all you've done, and that goes double for me.
I love Reen's.
Hey, Reen, do you still remember our first day at the academy?
Which part?
Our first day?
The part where you were okay, or the part where you were a fucking weirdo for like, I don't know, a month?
How can I possibly forget? First, we bumped into each other outside the station because I was so taken by the lino flowers, and then that happened.
Didn't she run into us?
I'd love to tell you I've done what you asked and forgotten, but that's just plain not possible. Sorry about that.
I should have known. Then again, who am I to talk? It's such an embarrassing memory, I doubt I'll ever be able to forget it. And the part outside the station was the most picture-perfect way to meet you, too.
Was it?
Then we both had to go and ruin it.
Picture perfect. I don't know. There's another word you might want to use to describe
I
it.
really am sorry about what happened, though. Just so we're clear on that.
In a strange way, though, it kind of worked out for the best. Afterward, I just kept thinking about what happened over and over again. And before I knew it, I couldn't get you out of my head. We barely met, and you were willing to risk getting seriously injured just to protect me from harm. That left a real impression on me. I kept wondering, why? Why would you do that? What kind of person must you be? Next thing I knew, I found myself watching you from afar. I was so curious about every little thing you did. And the more I learned about you, the more I wanted to know. I wanted to find out how you saw the world around you and how you were able to live so true to yourself.
You know, you were always on my mind, too. You've always been hardworking, with all the pride of a noble and a strong competitive streak. But I think what stood out to me the most was how considerate you are of others, and how you always put them before yourself. All that time you say you were thinking about me, I was probably thinking about you, too. To be honest, you've been on my mind ever since our picture-perfect meeting, as you put it.
Really?
During the past few weeks and months, I've gotten to know more and more about what makes you the person you are. The two of us have had so many long talks about finding our own paths through life, or about deciding how we want to live. And somewhere along the line, I found myself hoping that between whatever you decided and whatever I decided, the paths we chose for ourselves would eventually meet and become one, so we could walk side by side.
Does that mean?
I love you, Alisa. And no matter what happens, or what you decide to do with your life, Even if our paths one day end up parting, and we have to go our separate ways, my feelings for you will never change.
Reen. If it weren't for you, I'm not sure I would have ever found the courage to find a path for myself at all. I was only able to because of how much your determination inspired me. How it made me want to struggle on, just like you do. And I love you too, Reen.
I'm so glad. I'm feeling kind of embarrassed now.
Reen suddenly realized he had not brushed his teeth in 4 days. He had been too consumed by the all-encompassing combat.
I've got a lot of memories of this place already, but I think this one might leave the strongest impression of all.
So am I. I can't see my face, but I think it's safe to say it's redder than it was at the old schoolhouse.
What?
But I'll never forget this moment. No matter what happens, I won't forget.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, the thing that they were just referencing.
No matter what hardships I might end up facing, I'll just have to think of you, and I'll be strong enough to overcome them.
And the same goes for me, too. I've got no idea if I really deserve someone as good as you. There's still so much I don't know about myself. But I do know that I want you by my side, now and in the future. Whatever may happen, Alisa, I hope we'll be able to find a path we can share with one another.
I hope so too.
That one's pretty good. I liked Lisa's little speech there about how she was always watching Reen. That one's... I would rank it 3rd overall on our rough and dirty immediate reaction power rankings. But, yeah, I guess I should get up to the screen to get the achievements for, because I've been Alta 4 and too soon. We only have the one for Fee and Alisa right now. I mean, not that it matters, but... But I mean, it's definitely... Of the purely romantic ones, I guess that's the best one. Because I mean, like, Towa and Fee were still kind of, like, more subtle, like, undertone-y. Like, you know, it's there, but it's not, like, as up in front in your face. So, I guess we could... I mean, the real question is, who gets to go last? Probably Jusis. We'll probably do Jusis last. Let's do Gaius. Staying in this room brings back a lot of memories. It's been too long since I was here. It sure has. It's been a tough journey, but it's all paid off in the end. I'm probably jumping the gun here tomorrow, but tomorrow will be the toughest thing we've attempted yet, so we can't really relax. Sure we can. It's all going to work out. We've gotten through every challenge we've faced so far, so we can get through this. We should put our faith in the wind and let us guide us forward. It's true enough. By the way, will you be free later? Why do you ask? I just thought the two of us could go walk around our old dorm. What better time than tonight? Fine by me, I'll meet you there later. Thanks. We've got a bit more relaxing to do beforehand, but I'll be there soon enough. You can head over to the dorm whenever you're ready. I'll stay here for a while, so I won't leave you hanging too long.
Oh, hey, Reen. All done celebrating?
I guess. It still feels early, but I'm bushed after all that walking around.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts out there. I'd finished clearing up the club room earlier than I expected, so I decided to swing by once I was done.
What do you think Gaius keeps in his pocket?
Again. Strange. And yet I feel right at home.
You think he keeps the blade on him at all times?
Yeah. I can't explain it, but being here again is somehow comforting. You up for taking a look around here with me? I'm curious how things are upstairs, too.
Sure.
I mean, I just feel like Gaius' pocket. I mean, it was perfectly sized for like a card deck. He's ready to duel at a moment's notice. Before you even know it, he's played 3 7s and a force.
They're all empty, of course. I know it's silly, but a small part of me was hoping we'd find him in his room like normal, here to see what the commotion was about.
I know the feeling.
Gaius, you stole Reen's line.
Whether he admits it or not, I like to think our time spent in this dorm meant something to Crow. I want to believe it still means something to him.
And to think, Crow's already experienced that horrible feeling of losing the one place you call home. He knows what it's like more than any of us, to be utterly powerless against the tides of change, to lose everything you hold dear. We may have been able to avert the worst in the end, but I can relate to that feeling of dread. At least a little.
Yeah, I guess you would know. Maybe you guys can talk about it some more once we bring him back. And we'll definitely bring him back.
That we will. I wish I could say Nord is safer now, but we still can't afford to let our guard down just yet. We only saw a snippet of what it would be like for war to affect it, and there's every possibility it could do more in the future. And then there's Calvert to think about. We're at peace now, but who knows if, or even when, that could change.
Which is why we need to do what we can to make sure that doesn't happen.
Still, as much as I wish I could be back in the Highlands, ending the war here in Erebonia should be my prime focus now. If ending it makes for one less potential threat at home, then I can rest easier at night knowing I've done something right. I don't want this land to be plagued by danger any longer. I've come to love Erebonia as much as I love Nord. You helped me protect my home, Reen. And now, it's my turn to help you protect yours.
Huh. You really are one of the most dependable people I know.
Hmm?
I feel like so long as we have each other's backs, we can overcome just about anything life throws at us. I wonder if this is how Emperor Dreikel's felt during the War of the Lions. He was supposed to have allies from Nord too. If they were half as reliable as you are, I'm sure he must have felt the same way I do.
Your presence is just as reassuring for me too, you know. I can't help but want to answer to the unwavering trust you've placed in me, Reen. This land, our classmates, and everyone we've met along the way have become so precious to me. I find myself thinking, if I had all the strength of a tempest, all the dignity of a hawk, then I could blow away all the obstacles which threaten them.
What?
And I don't know if I ever would have felt so strongly about changing myself for the sake of everyone here, if not for you. You've become my dearest friend, Reen.
Aww.
You really mean that? Thank you, Gaius. That really means a lot to me. I guess we're both inspiring each other for the better. In a way, I want all those things for myself for the same reasons as you, so that I can protect all of you and the homeland that I treasure too.
I'm sure we can do anything we put our minds to. May we both go forth and find the strength to envelop this land and its people in a mighty wind.
Yeah, sure, whatever you say, guys. This dude really likes the wind, man. Winderlust is the name of his achievement? That's funny. Yeah, man, he's like really all about that wind for some reason, man. Let's do... Who do we want? Who do we want? We gotta do it eventually. Let's get it out of the way. Oh, wait, did I talk to the people in the park? I don't think I did, actually. Someone looks ready for bed. You better head on back to the Courageous. You catch a cold if you sit out here. We need you in fighting shape for tomorrow. Oh, come on. I'm not gonna fall asleep. I'm just a little tired. See how awake as can be. Besides, who'd waste a night like this snoozing? For all the work you put into getting back here, we gotta enjoy it. Fair enough, fair enough. Honestly, it's kind of nice to hear that you like this town enough to be happy that you're back. So you're always telling me I'm just as much a part of Class 7 as you are, and so this is my home away from home. And it's just nice having a home to come back to, you know? Oh yeah, I'm gonna head over to the academy in a bit to do some adventuring. You have any free time later? Adventuring? What, you need a second adventurer? Not exactly, I was just wondering if we could go check on our dorm together. I want to take a look around. I figured it'd be more fun if you were there with me. It might be. Sure, sign me up as your co-adventurer. Woohoo! Catch you later, I'll be around sometime and I'll try not to make you wait too long. We'll see about that, but I guess we'll head over to the dorm once I've done everything I meant to do. Yeah, I don't think I talked to you guys. I made some delightful sweets for you using every single bit of my love. Why don't we cuddle up in that bitch over there and feed them to each other? Should you be so overtaken by your longing that we end up tangled in a romantic embrace, then so be it. No, please, anything but that. Come now, there's no need to be shy. That is one of the many things I love about you. You never make me, it just makes me want to hug you tight and never ever let you go. Adios, please, grant me escape from this madwoman. Goddess, I've never imagined it would be possible, well, but she's even more fearsome than ever before. As the truest sign of terror is that the terror of the war. Wait, the truest sign of the terror of the war is that it's made her stronger. This is not the terror of war, Master Vincent. It's simply the power of love. Don't just stand there making pithy comments, Serapha. Assist me, please. But please, let us calm ourselves and talk about this like reasonable people. You want to go and talk somewhere more private? Oh my, I'd be happy to accompany you somewhere a little quieter. Everything I do to calm the situation merely exaggerates it. I'm afraid I've not yet discovered a way to control Lady Margarita when she gets like this. It appears you have no recourse to attempt to pacify yourself. I suggest accepting her offer of a warm embrace and whispering sweet nothings into her ear as a starting point. No, you may not! It's so nice to hang out again. We haven't talked in forever. We'll have to be sure to go shopping together as soon as the stupid war is over, okay? You gotta promise. Okay, I promise. Such a relief to know that Melinda's the same old Melinda. Thanks to all the work we put into retaking Trista, totally worth it. Oh, how I've missed being able to go on a good shopping spree. It just wasn't the same with all those soldiers around. Can't unleash my inner shopaholic with Colette again. Can't come soon enough. Okay, it's looking like 90 minutes was maybe too lax of an estimate.
You sure took your time. Guess you finished exploring the grounds, Milliam?
Nope. But I didn't want to keep you waiting, so here I am.
Place ain't that big.
This place hasn't changed a bit. It feels great to finally be back here.
Yeah, it does. Well, while we're here, are you up to walking around inside for a bit? I'm curious how things are upstairs.
Oh yeah, I'm curious too! Feels weird seeing Crow's room all empty again like that. I mean, we joined Class 7 on the same day, so he's always been there to me.
Oh yeah, I guess you did. We were all pretty surprised when we got 2 new classmates on the same day. That's unusual enough as it is without one of them being a gambling addict and the other one being you.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Can't deny that we made things more fun though.
Fun.
True, I can't. I hope we weren't the only ones having fun though. You had fun too, right?
Yep, I sure did. It was my first time sitting down at a desk and studying and all that. I didn't think I'd like it so much. I had so much fun. I sometimes forgot why I was sent to the academy in the first place.
Well, if it was that fun for you, then that's all the more reason we need to put things back the way they were. We'll bring Crow home, make it through the war in one piece, and then we'll go back to studying and having all the fun we want with our classmates like always.
Reen, I've been feeling kinda off lately.
Off? How?
Every time I think about how we'll have to fight Crow, my chest hurts. It wasn't like this before.
You can punch him in the face, it'll be fine.
I don't know why either. It's not like I've hurt myself there or anything. He's C. He's our enemy now and we need to fight him. So I don't know why I feel this way. It's all new to me.
What you're feeling now is totally normal. Crow's our classmate. We might be on different sides right now, but he's still one of us. And fighting against a friend is hard. It hurts to fight someone you care about. So there's nothing off about it, Milliam. It's perfectly normal to feel the way you do.
It is? Maybe it is for you, but I don't know if it's such a good thing for me to feel like this as an Ironblood.
Maybe you shouldn't be an Ironblood.
These feelings might get in the way of me doing my work in the future, so I'd probably be better off without them.
Maybe so, but I'm still happy you feel that way.
Huh? Why's that?
Because you're in a cult, Milliam.
Not everyone will agree with me, but I think it's important to know what it feels like to be sad or in pain. We strive to be kind to others because we know what it's like to suffer. And it's only by overcoming sadness and pain that we grow stronger as people. Personally, I'd say feeling hurt is a sign that you're starting to grow up. This war is terrible, but fighting your way through it has given you feelings that will forever change you.
You think?
Yeah, in the best way too. For me, for the rest of our class, and for you, of course. But like I said, you're only just starting. You've still got plenty of growing to do, and I want to watch over you every step of the way.
Wow. I'll never figure out how you don't burst out laughing in the middle of all those mushy speeches. We're classmates, but you barely know anything about me if you think about it.
You're right, I suppose. I don't know about your past, how you came to be an Ironblood, or what connection you have to Altina either. That's not as big a problem as you think it might be, though. It's all trivial compared to the one thing we do know. We all care about you.
Aww.
That's so.
Now don't you dare ruin this.
You love me that much, huh? So you gonna marry me
God
when I'm all
damn it.
grown up and hot and stuff?
God, you had to fucking ruin it. You fucking piece of shit.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Still, I meant everything that I said.
Get the smirk out of here.
When all this is over, you can use all those new feelings you gained to keep on growing right here at the Academy.
Roger.
One in a million? Aha, aha, aha. I see your joke, game. I acknowledge it. I do not recognize it, but I acknowledge it. Okay, take me to the Mockster. Reen's one true love. The character he has somehow actually shown the most feelings for, which is still hilarious to me. By the sounds of things, if not for the upper class chess club, Stefan and I wouldn't have had a club to go back to. They did everything they could to make sure the administration didn't close it while we were away. I wouldn't have expected that. That was good of them. Yeah, we owe them a lot. I'll be happy to return to the academy either way, of course, but it wouldn't be the same without our chess club. Oh, by the way, you got some free time, and we can go look around the dorm together. No pressure or anything, but I feel like if I miss this opportunity, the chance won't come again for a while. Huh. Why not? I'll see you there. Great, I'll be there as soon as I can. Shouldn't be long.
Sorry I'm late.
Steal people's mail. You think anybody's gotten any mail in the last 2 months?
Not at all. You're right on time. I take it everything's squared away with the chess club?
It was nothing special. We just played a few games with the upper class students like we always used to. Of course, we couldn't decide a winner, but it's not like there won't be time for that in the days to come.
Good luck with that.
You know, it's odd coming back here and seeing things exactly how we left them. It's almost as if this place were frozen in time these past few months.
Yeah, it's true. Well, what do you say we walk around for a bit? It'll give us a chance to see how things are upstairs, too.
Might as well. Everything's the same up here, too. Can't say I'm terribly surprised. As ridiculous as it sounds, I was hoping against hope that we'd just find Crow sitting in his room as if nothing had happened.
Honestly, that does sound like a long con he'd try to pull off. I'm surprised the common areas are so clean, though. I figured they'd be covered in a few coats of dust by now.
Yeah.
I guess the upper class students worked hard to keep things nice around here.
Did they?
Presumably so.
Surprised none of our shit got stolen, because everyone still has at least one weapon hanging on the wall.
I can scarcely believe how different a person I've become in less than a year. When I first arrived here, my blood would start to boil if I so much as heard the term upper class. But now...
You're a new man.
Honestly, when I think back to how I acted on our first day, even Milliam seems dignified in comparison.
You said it, not me.
I came here with a firmly ingrained belief that nobles were the enemy, so that's the way I treated them. That's certainly a time in my life that I'd rather forget. Ugh, how embarrassing.
It's not like you didn't have your reasons, though. After what you went through as a child, I don't think anyone could blame you.
Oh, come on, they are nobles, so...
Besides, we've all changed for the better since we first showed up at the academy.
I wonder if that's true. You're right about the reason, of course. I've hated nobles ever since the day they took my cousin from me. My time here helped me realize that not all nobles are so despicable, and that I was misplacing the blame for her death.
It's a very powerful piece of artwork, too, by the way.
That's something you and our other noble classmates taught me, and it makes sense to me on a logical level. Claiming that I've matured as a person feels somewhat empty, because I can't be sure I really have.
How so?
Having a logical understanding of something is one thing, but completely restructuring your beliefs around it is another. This war has proven that to me. I know as well as anybody that the nobility as a whole isn't the cause, but the nobles who are have taken so many lives. While I know it's wrong, in my heart, I still blame every last one. So the things I say and do might have changed, but inside, I'm the same hateful, immature child I was on the day we met. Still, that used to frustrate me, even make me resent myself. But not anymore.
Why's that?
Because I've accepted myself. My immaturity is still a part of who I am. I can't change that in a day, but I can keep trying. We're all immature in our own ways. But together as a class, we managed to make up for each other's flaws, making it the perfect environment for me to learn and grow. And it doesn't hurt my best friend's a part of it. I mean you, Reen. All I can do is keep learning and improving. That's the only thing any of us can do. And we've still got a long way to go.
Man, Machias, your speech is actually so good, I couldn't even interrupt it with a "we're your only friend" joke. At least not immediately.
After this war's over and once we've rescued Dad from the Alliance, this nation as we know it will never be the same again.
Damn, Reen. Fucking destroy... Machias, don't end it all, okay? I know you have a shotgun on you at all times, but like, please, just hear us out. Don't do it just yet. Don't pull the trigger.
Hey, cut it out. Stop laughing, damn it. I'm in the middle of a serious impassioned speech here.
Sorry, I can't help it. You know how sometimes something makes so much sense that you can't help but laugh? That's you in this ultra-serious speech.
I beg your pardon?
You've got no shortage of strengths, but the one that really stands out is your ability to face the whole world directly. Jusis might argue you're a little too direct, since you do occasionally run yourself straight into trouble, but that stems from the strength of your conviction. You stand by your beliefs, and you're willing to fight for them.
I'm not sure that's a good thing.
Sure it is. It's why you're able to tackle problems that others would rather avoid, even the most difficult ones. Like the class system. Most people would have just seen it as a fact of life, but you see it as a problem that needs uprooting. I have nothing but respect for that. You're serious in the truest sense of the word, so this speech just made me laugh.
What? That wasn't the response I was hoping to elicit. And what's with all this heart-to-heart stuff all of a sudden?
You should know by now that if you try to give me a serious speech, I'll give you one right back. And I'm not even done. I'm being completely honest when I say that as long as the two of us are together, we can build a brighter future for Erebonia. Throughout the war, so many have gotten injured, or worse, lost their lives. And I don't want it to be for nothing at all. I want a future where people can look back and say their losses weren't in vain.
That's certainly ambitious, but I'm sure we will.
Oh fuck, dude. Do I have to admit that that's actually like the best Bond of it?
We'll live our
Oh,
lives
God.
to better those of the people around us, starting with taking Crow back from the Alliance. And then we'll build that future of ours, piece by piece.
It's actually so good.
It's a promise.
Machias just emerged from the shadows to dunk on everyone. That might actually be the best Bond event. It's definitely top 3 of the ones we've seen. It's probably still like Fia, Alisa, Machias is the top 3. Machias's might actually have been the best. Holy shit. The People's Choice. And this is the part where he has the lowest percentage of people who has his achievement. Which looks like he does. He actually has less people than Gaius, which is, well, oof. Gaius is at 8.1%, Machias is at 8% flat. In terms of like how many people have the achievement on Steam. And I can't think of a character who would be less popular than Machias. Even characters that are going to be a bit harder to get, like Towa and Alfin, just because their Bond events are, you know, they're not main party members, we'll beat them out just because girl. Now, I didn't actually get their achievements because I didn't stay through for the entire Alt F4 too quickly, same with Laura's, but I assume Laura's probably one of the most popular. It's probably like Alisa, Emma, Laura, Fee, Alfin, Towa, Jusis, Sarah and Milliam are in there somewhere. I don't know. Hey, let's do Sarah. Also, before we commit to something, I just want to get the character notebook updated for these guys. I can't remember if... Is it just her that had one? Okay, so now... So who? It's just Sarah, Elliott, Jusis? Let's actually do Elliott first, then. We'll do Elliott, then Sarah, then Jusis. Jusis, you have a lot of, expectations riding on you. Sarah's are also usually pretty good, too. Hey, Reen, having fun? Sure am. What are you doing playing here, Elliott? Isn't there a mass or something starting soon? Believe it or not, Father Apollo gave the Wind Orchestra permission to play here today. Me and Bridget should be here as soon as they've taken care of some other stuff. Sounds like fun. I'll stop by and listen if I get the chance. Please do. Hey, Reina, you want to check out the dorm together later? I mean, I got some stuff here to finish up first, but I do want to see it again now that we're finally back. That's an idea. Alright, sure. Awesome, see you later then. I'll come to meet you as soon as I can. Guess I'll head over to the dorm as soon as I've done everything I want to do.
Hey, Reen. Didn't think you'd be here already.
Yeah, you're not the first one to say that, Elliott. Everyone keeps reading waiting.
Neither did I, to be honest. It just kind of happened. Finished everything up with the Wind Orchestra, I take it?
Sure did. It was great to be able to play together with them again. I swear, though. Looking around, you'd think we never left. It's just like coming home.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Thor's might not be the home any of our class grew up in, but it's our home nonetheless. Come on, let's walk around for a bit. I want to check on things upstairs, too.
Sounds good to me.
Or how many violins you got, Elliott? Got 3 fucking violins just laying around.
Nothing's changed. Even after all this time, it's exactly as we left it. It feels like we've gone back in time to our last day here, but somehow lost Crow in the process.
Yeah. His absence makes all the difference in the world, too. Like any twinge of nostalgia I feel is somehow wrong.
I know what you mean. It's like trying to perform a concert with an instrument missing. It's just not the same. Though in this case, the concert is our class.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, I got that. But you're right. He might not have been with us on day 1, but Class 7 isn't complete without him. Which is why we can't give up. To go back to your metaphor, we might be missing an instrument, but we can still go out and steal it back, right?
Yeah, true.
Right. Hey, Reen, I've got a question. Do you still remember the day of our welcoming ceremony?
Yes, the day you became our sidekick?
How could I forget? It was a pretty eventful day, but I still remember that you were the first to try and start a proper conversation with me. I guess you could say you were my first friend at this academy.
Well, you were mine too. To tell you the truth, I was really, really nervous that day. I wasn't exactly thrilled to be here, for one thing. My dad practically forced me into attending in the first place. So I was feeling pretty doubtful that I'd be able to deal with wasting 2 years of my life at an academy I didn't care about.
Oh, welcome to being a normal student, Elliott.
So in order to try to get a handle on things, I figured the first person I tried to talk to should be my opposite.
What do you mean by that?
Someone who, unlike me, had strong convictions. Someone who was looking forward instead of backwards. I remember seeing you there in that auditorium and thinking, there he is, he's the one.
Which is funny because Reen himself was like highly conflicted about everything.
It sounds stupid, but I figured if I could make friends with someone like you, maybe I'd get stronger too.
Wow, I didn't know you had such high expectations when you first started talking to me. But if that's what you wanted to do, you picked the wrong guy. I wasn't anywhere close to being strong. Worse yet, I was so oblivious, I didn't even realize that there were people around me who really cared.
I don't know about that. The fact that you're kicking yourself now means that you've grown up quite a bit since then. So no matter what you say, I'm sure I chose the right person to talk to. No doubt about it.
Oh, thanks, Elliott.
Spending time with you has made me stronger too. Strong enough that even Dad will accept the path I've chosen.
Because he has no choice, because otherwise Elliott will beat his ass.
And while it's come as some surprise, it's also helped me realize more than ever the real power of music. I don't think my love for music has ever been stronger, in fact. That's something else I owe almost entirely to you. You helped me find my path, and now, thanks to you, I can see it stretching out in front of me.
Really? That's nice to hear. But you're stronger than you think. You always have been. Even if you're kind of small, the music in your heart has always roared. You never let that conviction fade either. I've always admired that about you. And I've always been proud to call you my friend.
Thanks. I mean it, Reen. You really are the best friend I ever could have hoped for. As long as we're together, there's nothing that can stand in our way.
I mean, he's not wrong.
My thoughts exactly.
I like how they all have
Crow too.
their own little hand thing they do.
Between the two of us, I'm sure we can make music so amazing, we'll even win him over.
You've got that right. Together, we can do this.
Elliott, that one probably fits like lower mid, I would say, or like mid tier. I don't know. I'm kind of losing track. It's like Fee, Machias, Alisa. I don't know. And then it's like the ones that I didn't like, probably on the lower end, are like Millium and Gaius. Perfect Harmony. And there's a very adorable picture of Elliott as the Steam achievement. Oh, Elliott's the least popular. No, he's more popular than Machias and Gaius. Okay, that makes sense. Just barely. Laura's is also kind of on the low end. I don't know. I wasn't like super... There was a lot of sword talk. like a comical amount for like what's supposed to be like this romantic scene. Evening, out for a little stroll to see what everyone's up to? Why did your voice just change? Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be surprised you're passing the time with your good friend Mr. Booze. Well, the plan was to have a little get-together with all the instructors to celebrate finally being back. But the only ones who've shown so far are me and these two, and they're not exactly my first choice for drinking buddies. You better not shoot mocking me on one of your student instructors, Valstein. Oh, why can I come and join us, Reen? There's a seat right here and the libations are flowing fast and free. No, that's alright. I wouldn't want to intrude. If I sat down, it'd all be over. I'd never escape. I wish the other instructors would hurry up, so I'm not sure how much longer I can suffer this company. I would have been better off just getting sloshed by myself at the counter. You could be a gentleman and score some brownie points with your poor teacher, Reen. How would give me an excuse to blow this joint? What do you mean? I'm not sure not having any fun sitting around here, and my chances of getting drunk are plummeting by the minute. So given the choice, I'd much rather kick back and relax over the dorm with you. What do you say? Fine, I'll head over to the dorm in a little while. Attaboy, I'll give these guys a slip as soon as I can then. See you later. Should I go back and just to truly make this video ridiculous and see all the rejection dialogue as well? Part of me kinda does.
Finally. Sorry if I kept you waiting.
Not at all. I think I actually showed up a little early. Finally had enough booze for the night, I take it?
Yeah, had enough of the bad company too, so I managed to skedaddle. I figure the others should be able to handle things over at the academy. Just standing here really does bring the memories flooding back, doesn't it? For as long as we spent here, it feels like we've been away even longer.
Remember when I thought this video would only take like an hour?
But I'm glad you made good on your word and took it back from the Alliance.
Granted, we got some side stuff to do, but...
So am I. And I know I couldn't have done it without you. Say, while we're here, why don't we take a little stroll through the place? I'm feeling the itch to see if everything upstairs is like we left it.
It's a date.
Like, you know, Alfin had extra dialogue. There was a couple NPCs to talk to as well. There's our old map.
A shame Crow isn't back with us like old times, huh? In a way, he hasn't changed a bit since his first day. Even then, he was never honest with his feelings.
Oh, yeah. You helped out with the Arcus trials they all did last year, didn't you?
Yep. We sent him all over the country, just like we did with you guys during your field studies. Sometimes, I can't help but wonder that if I'd noticed something was off with Crow back then, we all could have been spared a lot of heartache. I've known him even longer than you guys have. Heck, I was his teacher. I guess I keep thinking maybe there was something I could have done.
It's not your fault. Crow's planning was meticulous. He'd been setting it up for years. He would have gone through with it either way. But I'm not going to sit back and let that be that. I'll face him down, beat him, and bring him back. That's my promise. He'll be back where he belongs, with us. And you'll be there with us too.
I mean, really, he does belong in prison. I mean, now do I like morally completely object to him shooting Osborn? I mean, you know, I mean, if anyone deserved to be shot, maybe it was Osborn, but he did also come up with a plan to blow up Crossbell. Not a big fan. I like Crossbell.
Yeah? I know you'll do everything you can. If anyone can bring Crow back, it's you guys.
Granted, I guess you could also make the argument that he actually never could have blown up Crossville because that would have meant Lloyd died, and then because of the whole timeline shenanigans of Azure, it like could never come to pass because they just keep creating new multiverses until there's one where Lloyd gets to live and punch a god in the face.
It's been almost 2 years since I traded in my bracer badge for the whole teacher shtick, but there's never been a day when I regretted making the switch.
Likewise. We couldn't have ended up with a better homeroom teacher. Your methods seemed really bizarre at first, but when I look back, everything you did prepared us for what was to come.
Thanks. It makes me happy to hear that. I'd like to think that you all learned a lot from me, but over the past year, I've learned plenty from you guys too.
Yeah, it's also like how Sarah represents the first actually unwinnable fight in the entire Trails series, and it's a precursor to the fact that you get your ass beat in cutscenes for the next 200 hours.
Things I never learned pounding the battlefield as a Jaeger or during my time with the bracers. But whatever the future holds for me, I know the time I spent here will help guide me in whatever I end up doing next.
Wait, whatever the future holds? You're not thinking of...
I don't even know anymore. No matter which side comes out on top in this war, the Empire's never going to be the same again. When it's all over, should I stay on as an instructor here? Should I go back to being a bracer? Or branch out to something new? All I know is that I want to be able to support you guys in whatever you decide to work towards, as much as I can. Just how I'm going to do that, I don't really know yet. I'm hoping that fighting through the battle ahead of us brings me an answer.
You really are amazing. You know that? No matter how fast we grow, you're always a step ahead of us, pushing forward into the unknown to show us the way. I'm never gonna be able to measure up to you, am I?
What do you mean?
You're experienced, reliable, always ahead of us, just out of reach, but guiding us forward.
Ringa Taker.
You're strict sometimes, but you're always compassionate, and you bury your weaknesses deep down to be someone we can rely on. And somewhere along the way, I started to hope that one day I'll be able to finally catch up to you, so that we can think of each other as peers, as something more than just teacher and student.
Oh.
As things stand, I'm still a long way from being there. When this war is behind us, and life slows back down to its normal pace, there'll come a day when I graduate from Thor's and head out into the world as a real man.
What?
When that day comes, I want to be there for you, in some way, as your equal.
Oh my. Well, you're just full of surprises tonight, aren't you? With all that's been going on, I never realized you felt that way about me. You can be pretty daring sometimes, you know that?
Shut up, Sarah.
I'm sure you're well aware that I go for the classy, mature gentleman type, and not students, though.
Is there, you know, you say that, yet you do constantly, like, hit Reen with, like, sexual innuendo and stuff?
Yeah, but we're looking toward the future, right? Students grow up. Boys become men.
Reen, you're being weird.
Sure, I might not look the part now, but one day I'll be a dashing, handsome gent who can turn even your head.
All right, then.
Yeah, and then she's gonna be, like, middle-aged.
I want you to close your eyes.
No. I refuse.
In fact, I'm making it a formal assignment. No peeking.
Why?
Shh, no questions. Good students are supposed to listen to their teachers.
Well, if you say so.
Reen, you've been groomed. Reen, you've been groomed!
Just think of that as a little appetizer. In a couple of years, if you're still hungry for the main course, come and find me. I'll make it worth the chase. Still, there's no need to rush. I'm willing to wait, if you are.
I mean, it's still grooming, you know?
Thanks.
You know, you're still, you had a position of influence over Reen, therefore, you know, any romantic relationship, even years later on, is still kind of like an abuse of your own authority, but, you know, whatever. Worth the wait. God damn it. This freaking game, man. So now it's just the Euster. We will finish maybe in under 2 hours. I do want to at least see the rejection dialogue for Sarah. Just because they'll leave her hanging is funny. Alas, I just lied, so the grin and bear it then. Hopefully Instructor Mary will show up soon. So if you have a change of heart and want to heroically rescue your favorite teacher, you know where to find me. What's your rejection dialogue? Don't agree. Well, that's okay, I guess. Probably stuff you want to do too. If you do feel like a dorm adventure, stop by and let me know. I don't. I feel bad. Like, even just doing it. I'm like, I don't have the heart to be mean to even fake people. Alright, UC Euster. It's good to finally be able to return the horses to the stable. Always makes the hell we endured to get here feel worthwhile. Man, you're happy. I just you were here earlier in the day. It would have been fun to take them for a ride. Can we say that for another time? I'm not looking forward to returning them to the ship in preparation for operation. But that can wait until tomorrow. I'd like to let them sleep in their own stable tonight. Yeah, you just need to do maintenance on them behind closed eyes, or behind closed doors. Yeah, I think that'd make them happy. If there's anything I can lend a hand with, just say the word. Suppose as good a chance as any. I'm hoping to walk around our old dormitory tonight. If you have the time, perhaps you could join me. Now, there's an idea. Sounds good. I'll head on over when I get the chance. Then I'll see you there. I'll be along as soon as I finish seeing to the horses. Fine by me. Guess I'll head over to the dorm once I've done everything I want to do here.
My apologies for my tardiness.
The fact that you use the word tardiness means you're already off to a bad start, Jusis.
You can't apologize if you're not late. I just decided to show up early. How are the horses doing?
Splendidly, if not a little too energetic for their own good. Whitcomb was especially thrilled to finally be reunited with his master.
I bet he was. Nice to hear.
There's not a brick out of place, which means it's just as run down as ever. Still, I've made so many memories here. I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's for sure. It's really nostalgic being back here again. What do you say we head on up? I want to see what things are like upstairs, too.
All right, why not? Crow's foolishness continues to baffle me. He's fighting under a banner that doesn't include him. He's the sort you'd more likely find in a casino than the capital.
That's for sure. Fighting for the Alliance really doesn't suit him one bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure he realizes that too, though. He sees Duke Cayenne as more of a sponsor than an ally.
So it's just a case of the two using each other while they share a common purpose. Winning him over won't be easy, but we should push this angle if we intend to do so.
I'm glad the game at least acknowledges that Crow being with the Nova Alliance doesn't really make that much sense.
Rufus will likely be more difficult, given his key position in the Alliance and shared ideals.
I didn't even think...
My brother's always been my light, both dazzling and warm. He commanded respect, but he also deservedly earned my absolute trust. After the death of my mother, he was the only living relative who did so. And he was a constant. Someone I could rely on and look up to after I was taken into the family mansion in Bereahard.
I know how you feel. Your brother is to you what Elise and my parents are to me. I'm sure he still cares about you too. He's probably just as worried about your inevitable encounter as you are.
Is he though?
The two of you might disagree about the country's future, but that doesn't mean you can't care about each other.
I agree. Which is precisely why I've chosen to fight him with everything I have. That, above all else, is the role that I must play in ending this war. I am the man I am today because of my brother. He gave me everything I have, taught me everything I know. He was the one who taught me how to behave as a noble should, taught me to raise horses, trained me as a swordsman. I was always looking up at him, as if he were some sort of celestial being shining in the sky above. So the idea that I could cross swords with him on equal footing and emerge victorious always struck me as absurd. But not anymore. For all their riches, power, and influence, even the greatest noble is human, and they can fall like anyone else.
I like the way he said fall there.
My father always treated me with scorn. I was forever doomed to be the bastard child. But I always tried to act a noble. I suppose I did so out of some sense of duty towards my late mother. But as I spent more time with you, Regnitz, and our other classmates, my very perception of nobility changed. I found myself wanting to discover what it truly means to be proud of one's nobility.
True pride.
I can, and I will, surpass my brother. Not in order to justify the title given to me at birth, but in order to demonstrate the pride I have in myself as myself. And with you, my finest friend at my side, I know that I can accomplish that.
Alright, Jusis, you're living up to expectations.
I'm flattered, but I'm not half the man you are. You've always had a meaningful sense of pride, more than anyone else I know. I honestly never expected I'd be able to be friends with someone like you. Not as equals, but I'm glad that I was wrong. It fills me with pride to know how much belief you place in me, and that you're even willing to put it into words.
Perhaps your numerous heart-to-hearts and endless supply of passionate speeches have finally rubbed off on me. No matter how this war ends, our position as nobles will likely never be the same again. Regardless of what happens to this nation, we will always have our pride. That should never change.
There's the Jusis I know.
Guys already did that.
Pride waver either.
You gotta have your own unique hand thing.
Not when I've got a friend like you to keep me in line.
That goes without saying. I can't have you embarrassing me now, can I?
Okay, the Jusis one's very good too. I don't know, as much as I hate to admit it, I still think I like the Machias one a bit more, but Jusis is definitely up there. Let's see, is Jusis the most popular male character in terms of bond achievement percentages? House of Albroa, Albroa. It looks like it. I don't know if we have everyone's. I mean, let's just see. Let's just look at. It looks like it. Jusis is at 9.2. The closest we have is Elliott at 8.4. What other male characters are there? Are there any others? I think the ones that we didn't get achievements for were like the ones we did right after Fee, which were all the female characters. There are really only 4 male Bond event characters? Is that right? Am I forgetting someone? Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, because I guess you're missing Crow in this game, so it's not in. Plus, you have like all the new Bond event characters, like Alfin. I guess really just Alfin is female, so it's a bit more weighted towards that now, but. Alright, that will be it for this video. We will actually finish in sub 2 hours. Let's go. Next time, we will go with our canon choice, which is still just going to be Fee, I think. The Towa and Alisa ones are good, but I don't know. We went with Fee in the first game. We'll stay with her for probably the series, just for the sake of, like, continuity and momentum. I still do want to see all the Bond events. Like, we'll do this for all the other games, too. Now, I don't know if, like, future Bond events will actually be different if you've done the ones in the previous game. Like, I don't know how that's going to work. Because, I mean, I would kind of assume they would have to start being mutually exclusive, right? I don't know. But, yeah. I am Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next part. And bye, guys.